Have you ever wondered what it would feel like if there wasn't this pressure that's trying to tell us that we need to meet a certain standard, or that we need to prove something to ourselves or to the world that makes us seem like we're worthy enough to deem ourselves credible of some kind of status or some kind of position or some kind of character that we want, or that we want others to see us as? What if I told you that there's no need to worry about this standard? There's no need to worry about not being enough. There's no need to question whether or not you need to work harder at becoming the ideal person that you want people to see you as. What if this pressure was just completely eliminated from your life and from your head and from the way that you see the world? Because it doesn't really exist. It's not true. And there's a version of you that is true. But the more time you spend thinking about this pressure that's always in your mind, this pressure that's being applied to you, making you feel like you need to meet some kind of expectation, just let go of it. There's no need to feel this pressure. There's no need to keep that in your head. The reality is, there's no pressure at all. What you need to focus on is being you and being true to who you are. Because if you're not doing that, what's the point? If you're not being true to yourself, what's the pressure even for? For somebody else to think that you're a certain way? Who cares what other people think? Who cares what other people are putting, what expectation they're putting on you? All that matters isn't the pressure that you feel. It's not the expectations that people set before you or that you see around, whether that's in school, whether that's in your job, your family. None of that matters. What matters is that you are living for who you need to be, and that you're staying true to yourself. There's a certain feeling that you get whenever you're just living true to who you are that's just unmatched. It goes well beyond any sort of metric of comparison, thinking that I'm doing things better than somebody, or I'm doing what I can to try and beat that standard for myself, or beat the old me, whatever that is. There's a feeling you get when you're just pure in who you are that's just unmatched. And you're gonna need to uncover that to truly feel that. And it's gonna take some time, because for me, for so long, it's like I'm limiting myself because of what the world puts on me, and I'm not allowing myself to truly live out my full potential. And when I can feel that piece of me coming back into my life, you start to feel whole again, and it's a beautiful thing. And when you can feel that, it's so relieving, because you now don't feel that pressure anymore of trying to be someone that you're not, or trying to fit in, or trying to meet a certain standard. You're just living in you and who you are. And that's the biggest blessing we have, and that's the best thing that you can do in your life. And what's crazy and what's amazing is that you are uniquely you, and there's nobody else that is like you. There's no need to try and be like somebody else, because God's created you unique. He's created you to be you specifically. And when you can grasp that, when you can truly seek God, when you can feel His presence, you start to see the version of yourself that is true and is pure. And when you can see that, that means you can become that. I firmly believe if you see it, you can do it. If you can see it, you can become that. And I think whenever you seek God, He's the one who really opens your eyes to the fact that there's more for me than trying to fit in. There's more for me than trying to act like someone I'm not. There's more for me than feeling this pressure that I'm feeling every single day of not being enough, or of being left short every single time. But reality is, there's no need to feel this pressure at all. Because if you're seeking God, if you're staying true to who you are, that's all that matters. Maybe life isn't about constantly being productive. Maybe life isn't about always making everything the most optimal way that it needs to be. Maybe it's not all about chasing something. Maybe it's just about existing and being present in who you are and who you truly are. I think that's how we learn, is about just being present and acknowledging who we are. You know, if I was the same as somebody else, then what would that make me good for, right? Like, everybody is different in their own way, and that's a beautiful thing. And when you can learn to just grasp that, and you can learn to just accept that, there's no stress. There's no need to worry about, okay, well, I'm not good at that. I can't have that. So who cares? You're you. You don't need that. You don't need what that other person has. You don't need what the other person doesn't have. You need what God wants you to have. And that's the beautiful thing, is that he's got a specific plan laid out for you already. There's no need to worry about trying to fight everything and trying to create everything on your own. It's already been done for you. All you have to do is look. All you have to do is seek God. And I think it's as simple as that. All these things will be opened up to you. You know, in Matthew, it says, seek first the kingdom of heaven. All these things will be added to you. And it's just that. While the kingdom is a spiritual term, and it's to come, you know, when Jesus returns, it's also here right now, and it's within you. And when you can seek that, right, when you can seek that kingdom that's inside of you, when you can feel God's presence, he's going to use you. And he's going to use you, and he's going to show you that you're exactly who you need to be. And he's going to show you that he's been with you all along. And you've been the same person that you've been your entire life. It's just time for you to truly acknowledge that and truly channel that, because you're special. You are. And I know how easy it is to not feel that way. Especially with social media. I mean, you're always comparing yourself to other people. You're always comparing to people that have more than you, have less than you. And it's almost impossible now with what society pushes on you that you need to be content. It's almost like they don't want you to be content with anything you have. But reality is we have everything to be content for. You know, it's like, just because we're not the smartest in the world, just because someone else is more intelligent than we are, that doesn't mean that we're not worthy, right? But I think the way we find true peace, the way we truly feel joy and satisfaction, is just acknowledging who we truly are and accepting that. And it starts with looking inside, not outside. You have to look inside and truly feel that. And when you can feel yourself, you know, being whole, when you can feel that piece of you coming back, it's a beautiful thing to see. And sometimes it's not easy to really do that. Sometimes it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take some letting go. You're going to need to kill the flesh. As Jesus tells us, we need to kill our flesh and be born again. And it's a process, for sure. It's not easy at all, especially whenever we develop these habits for so long that are actually keeping us away from God, and are keeping us away from becoming whole, and keeping us away from our truest selves. We almost make it normalized in our lives, and just like the same way we program it into our lives, we're gonna have to do some unprogramming, right? We're gonna have to reverse it, but it's doable, and it's gonna take time, it's gonna take discipline. But through that time, through that discipline, it's gonna mold you, it's gonna shape you into the person that you were meant to be this whole time. You've just been covering up the things that you thought were going to bring you fulfillment, maybe. I know I've done that. And I've literally seen just my true self just kind of drifting down a path that isn't meant for me, or drifting away from who I am meant to be. And, you know, now that I'm kind of trying to get that piece back, you know, I look back on whenever I was doing that, and it kind of hurts, and it kind of sucks to see that. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. God's got a plan for all of us, and maybe that's what we need to really realize. That's not for me. That's not for me. That's not who I am. But you don't know that unless you actually give into it, unless you go down that path. And sometimes that's what it takes. And so you got to assure yourself. You got to ask yourself these things whenever these new endeavors come into your life, you got to ask yourself, is this going to help me become who I was meant to be or not? I think we all can have a rough idea of the answer to that. And it's important to just assess these things from the beginning, or else you're going to go too far down that path and you're going to feel stuck and you're going to feel hopeless. You're going to feel lost. But if you can recognize that at the beginning, I think it's going to help you a lot more in the end, in the long run. And you'll truly be able to actually channel that being inside of you that was, it's like, it's yearning to be free. It's like screaming, bro, like stop blocking me out, you know? And whenever you can just let that be, whenever you can let your truest self be, it's a beautiful thing. And it's really everything. If you're not living to your true self, then what's the point of life? I think all of us can narrow down to that if we truly think about it. But sometimes that's all it takes, is just to think about it. Maybe we don't spend enough time thinking about these things. Thinking about whether what's good and what's bad for us. Thinking about, oh, we're here for a good time, not a long time. But we don't think about what's to come after. We don't think about the possibility of this life we're in now if we don't try and access our truest potential. Whatever that looks like. It's different for everybody, I know that. But there's always something you can do to grow closer to who you're meant to be. And I think we all know what that takes. We all know what that might look like for each other. And again, it's different for everybody, but when you seek God, he'll show you what's right and he'll show you what's wrong. He'll show you the path you need to go down, he'll show you what not to go down. And he'll give you glimpses of that beautiful whole person that you remember from your childhood. He'll show you that now. When you can see that, that's all that matters. That's all you'll want. I don't know what that was, but anyways, that's all I got for this video. Just stay true to yourself. I promise it's the best decision you can make. And when you can feel that piece of you coming back, it's a beautiful thing. And it really does feel amazing. And that's just my encouragement for you all today. So thank you all for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.